Hey everybody, today we're talking about the 5 different Kesa-gatame pin positions. So we're going to start off with Hon-kesa-gatame, which translates to mean regular scarf hold or basic scarf hold. So I'll have Brian lay here with his head pointed towards the camera. So this is one of the ones that you see the most, it's one of the most common, right? So my hip fold is deep into Brian's armpit. My arm is around underneath his head, giving a nice tight squeeze, usually holding on to some piece of the material, cupping under the elbow or grabbing the material by the triceps and pulling everything nice and snug and tight, right? Keeping the head forward. You don't want to lean back because then the opponent can rock forward and escape pretty easily. So we keep everything in there nice and tight. Now, sometimes you'll see legs spread out like so, right? What I prefer personally is this position here because it allows me to push into my opponent, can raise my hips up off the ground a little bit. It feels good for Brian right here, right? I can put more pressure on him that way. Plus I have mobility. If he starts to move, if he starts to scoot around, it's easy for me to follow him. Right? So I like this position. I prefer this position a little bit better. Occasionally, if I feel that they're trying to escape by hooking my leg with their leg, then I'll lay my leg down. Right. But for the most part, we're right here. I can scoot in and tighten this up as well. So that's Hon-kesa-gatame. From here, very simple switch to the next pin is hooking inside my leg right here with my hand. So this is referred to as Makura-kesa-gatame. Makura means pillow. So I'm making a pillow under Brian's head. This is a much tighter pin. It's harder for him to escape this because I'm elevating his head a little bit more, putting a little bit more squeeze on him. So this is a really tough one to escape. From here, we can go into a number of submissions as well. So Makura-kesa-gatame. Okay. Pin number 3 is going to be Kuzure-kesa-gatame. So this is a preferred one probably for a lot of us in Jiu-jitsu for when we're doing guard passes and that type of thing. We're going to look to get that underhook, right? So when I get the underhook here, I'm in here nice and tight. Again, leg is up tight underneath the shoulder. My hip fold is deep into Brian's armpit. I'm cupping behind the elbow, holding tight, leaning forward, putting my chest-to-chest pressure on Brian. So this would be what we call Kuzure-kesa-gatame, which means modified or broken scarf hold. So, all right, so our next pin is going to be one that we call Ushiro-kesa-gatame, which means reverse. So it's a reverse scarf hold. So from this one, we're going to kind of show a little bit different angle. So Brian's going to lay with his head pointed this way and his feet away from me here. So let's scoot that way more. Good, okay. So I'm going to start from a north-south position, right? So what we call kami-shio-gatame. So I'm here. One of the ways that I'm going to transfer into this is by scooping up Brian's arm and doing a sit-out this direction. So this is one of the ways that we end up in this position here. So Ushiro-kesa-gatame means reverse scarf hold. It means that I'm reversed. I'm looking at his feet instead of towards his head. So Ushiro-kesa-gatame. Still the same concept. I'm still holding by his elbow, pulling that tight around the waist. Everything's nice and tight right here. This is a good position. That is a good follow-up after some of the throws where your opponent lands kind of in a almost north-south position from you. Good transition. We can go from this back to north-south. We can switch to the other side, back and forth pretty easily. This is in my top 10 favorite positions, right? So from here. The next one is going to be Ura-kesa-gatame. Sometimes we just call it Ura-gatame. So right here, if I can, I want to continue to wrap this around my waist. So I'm in here nice and tight. My elbow is deep inside of his elbow pit, right? And so sometimes this is a version of crossbody. I want to get my knee up against his body and my foot braced on the ground, nice and solid, so I have that mobility and so I can apply pressure onto him as needed. A lot of times this position is going to happen after maybe a guard pass, like a negative pass, or you've done a crossbody half guard pass, something like that. You're going to end up in this position. So when you end up in this position, oftentimes you'll see entry into twister roll. Sometimes this is referred to, I think, as a twister side control. So this is actually Ura. It means back, right? So it's back here. So his arm is behind me. It's on my back. So this is Ura-kesa-gatame, sometimes just called Ura-gatame. Right? So that's just a brief description and and demonstration of those 5 different styles, 5 different variations of kesa-gatame pin, right? So kesa, scarf, gatame means to hold. And you might hear that I say gatame rather than gatame, right? Gatame is something you hear quite often. Gatame was how my Japanese judo instructor said it. I think similar to the word karate. In the United States, we say karate when the proper pronunciation would be karate. So it's one of those things, not trying to be snobbish, that's just the way I was taught to say it. So we hope you liked this video today, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so that you get notified when we produce some new videos. We're going to continue doing videos like this, Judo for Jiu-jitsu. So we'll be going over pins, we'll be going over how to combine throws with pinning positions and submissions and to tie all that stuff together. We want to be able to merge it together as fluidly as possible. So that's our goal, is to help demonstrate and show that kind of stuff for everybody in the Judo and Jiu-Jitsu community. If you learn a technique, you know a technique. If you learn a concept, you know 1,000 techniques. Until next time, everybody, thanks for watching.